Hi again, everyone. Welcome back to the story. This week we're in chapter 13, the king who had it all, King Solomon. But I was really intrigued by the focus on wisdom, and so I sort of renamed it and entitled the message for this past week, The Pursuit of Wisdom. I think we see different attributes of Solomon in this chapter that I think are things that we would do well to add to our own personal lives as well. First of all, Solomon made God happy. You may recall in the passage there in 1 Kings that God came to Solomon and asked him an unbelievable question. He asked Solomon if he could have anything in the world, anything in the universe, what would it be? It could be fame, it could be glory, it could be riches. Virtually anything that he could possibly want was at his disposal. And in light of the fact that Solomon saw himself as a young man, as an inexperienced man, as a man without a track record, as a man that may not have had all the wisdom and knowledge and intelligence that he wanted to have procured by that point in his life, he simply remembered the blessing that God had covered his father David and their family with. And so when he responded to God, he simply asked for wisdom. What a great decision by Solomon. And something that, as I said earlier, I think we would all do well to ask God for the very same thing in our lives, that we ought to ask for wisdom. We ought to continually ask for wisdom. The Bible tells us that when Solomon made that decision and that choice, that it made God happy. When was the last time you made God happy? When was the last time you made a decision or a choice that made God happy? I think that's something that we ought to think about, and we would do well to consider probably on a regular basis. The second thing that we see in Solomon's life is that he was an incredible note taker, both mental notes and written notes, because we found out in Solomon's life that he wrote down the things that he learned. He is credited with 3 books of the Bible: the book of Proverbs, the book of Ecclesiastes, the book of the Song of Songs, or the Song of Solomon. It is said that he wrote over 3,000 Proverbs. I love Proverbs 3:3-5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. What a great foundational section of verses that would be for all of us to implement in our life. He also wrote in Ecclesiastes about it's a time to be born, a time to die, and just some important life lessons learned over the course of his 80 years. And of course he also wrote the Song of Solomon, Song of Songs, where he talks about the love of his life type of thing. So we would probably do well to emulate Solomon and do a better job of taking notes and writing down what we've learned, not only as we process it ourselves, but as we pass that on to kids and grandkids. A third thing that we see about Solomon's life is that he loved God so much, he wanted to leave some tangible expression of that love. And he is credited with building the temple. About the size of a modern-day American football field. He brought in and was accumulating massive amounts of gold. He brought in cedars from Lebanon, from Tyre, all these different places. Those timbers were inlaid with gold. And it is said by many writers, both in the scriptures and also the early church fathers, what a majestic, what a spectacular, what a phenomenal temple this was that Solomon built. And then, of course, the saddest part of this whole episode is that Solomon does not handle prosperity very well. Things are going great. He's got peace at his borders. He's got peace within the country. He's got blessings. He's got family blessings. He has the wives. He's accumulated massive amounts of gold. He has horses, over 12,000 horses, over 1,400 chariots. And all of this prosperity, I think, leads him to be bored. And so what he does is he begins to allow these wives, especially these foreign wives, to turn his heart away from God. They actually have him bringing in idols, and he is actually participating or helping them participate in worship against God. So God becomes a secondary or just an afterthought. And of course, this makes God very, very angry. And so I entitled that fourth point that Solomon crashes and burns. these should be lessons to us. And I'll leave you with this thought. We should be asking God on a regular basis for wonderful wisdom, but we should also be careful. We should be careful with boredom in life. We should be careful when our focus is on gods of this world, and we begin to chase after money, and like Solomon, women or horses or anything that would take our focus off of the Lord God. He is the one that we are to serve, and He is the one who will bless us and allow us to be a blessing to our children and to our grandchildren.